The COVID-19 effect has substantially increased the prioritization of wellness among global consumers. But is your own myopic view of the construct leaving opportunity on the table? Wellness is a modern word that has ancient roots. As a modern concept, wellness gained a lot of its popularity around the 1950s, 60s, and 70s when subject matter experts largely shaped the way we conceptualize and talk about wellness today. In 1979, during a 60 Minutes segment, Dan Rather stated, "Wellness. There's a word you don't hear every day." Now, if we fast forward this to 2010 and a New York Times article that was referencing that 60 Minutes segment said, more than 3 decades later, wellness is, in fact, a word Americans might hear every day. And Americans aren't the only ones that are paying attention to wellness. The global wellness market is estimated to be $1.5 trillion, and this is growing at a mid to high single-digit compounded annual growth rate. Recent surveys show that 79% of global respondents do believe that wellness is very important, and 42% of those said it is actually their top priority. So this rise in consumer interest and elevated purchasing power provide tremendous opportunities for a number of functional CPG categories. But at the same time, the wellness market is getting increasingly crowded, creating the need for anybody involved to be more strategic about where and how they compete. The goal of this content is kind of twofold. Firstly, I do want to provide you guys with insights around the changing consumer attitudes and behaviors around wellness. And then secondly, I want to hopefully give you guys a few strategies that functional CPG brands can utilize to meet these new consumer needs and preferences in the strong and growing wellness market. Now, getting back to the introduction and why I kind of mentioned that a myopic view of the wellness construct could be leaving a lot of opportunity on the table, it's important to just ask the general question, how do you view the wellness market? Maybe you answered that you see it as improving general health, or maybe that is that you hope to get in better shape through fitness, but that's only a few dimensions within how the consumer views the wellness market today. They tend to have a much broader and more sophisticated lens that now encompasses 6 dimensions of the wellness market. The first one is better health. And consumers are increasingly taking their health into their own hands. This is probably the most traditional category associated with wellness. Product categories extend beyond medicine and supplements to include consumer medical devices as well as personal health trackers. Second one is around better fitness. Now, the COVID-19 effect did create a ton of adaptations to this dimension as consumers struggled to maintain fitness routines and levels when gyms were closed throughout much of 2020. However, fitness goals continued to persist as consumers purchased traditional and connected fitness equipment from companies like Peloton, Mir, and Tonal for their homes. The third dimension is better nutrition. Consumers want food and beverage that not only taste good, but also can help them accomplish their wellness goals. Increased spending can be seen across food and beverage CPG categories and with implementing nutrition apps and diet programs. The fourth dimension is better appearance, and it surrounds the old adage of if you look good, you feel good. And this extends across many categories of products, including workout apparel or athleisure, beauty products, beauty from within products or nutri-cosmetics, and non-surgical aesthetic procedures. A newer category to the changing view of wellness would be better sleep. And given the stresses from the pandemic, consumers purchased a great deal of traditional sleep medications and supplements, but also tested out app-enabled sleep trackers and other sleep-enhancing products. And the final wellness dimension is better mindfulness. While it has ancient origins, it has gained mainstream consumer acceptance relatively recently. And this has been in the form of meditation and relaxation-focused apps, products, and services. While each of these dimensions are important across the globe, each specific country or region does prioritize in terms of their spending power in each of these dimensions a little bit differently. And since the vast majority of the consumers of my content do reside in the United States, I thought I would just kind of share the estimated share that goes into each one of these dimensions. Better health sees 50% of the spending power. Better appearance is 20% of the spending power. Fitness is 14%, nutrition is 9%, mindfulness is 6%, and sleep is 1%. Functional CPG brands also need to understand that wellness consumers tend to fall within distinct groups and behave very differently between each one of these consumer cohorts. The first one is a wellness enthusiast. These are usually high-income consumers who are active participants within brands of wellness on social media. They track new product launches and are generally very excited about new innovations within the wellness market. The second distinct group would be the socially responsible consumer cohort, and they prefer and generally spend more for brands that are environmentally sustainable and provide clean and natural ingredients. Another consumer cohort would be the price conscious one, and these consumers do believe that wellness products are important, but they meticulously compare feature sets and benefits before finding the best deal possible. You also have what they call loyalists, and these are consumers that generally stick to their routine that they always have. They stick to the brands they always have. They kind of just keep going. They don't try to fix what's broken. And then you have the final consumer cohort, which would be passive participants. And these are ones that are only marginally involved within the wellness market, and they don't actively follow brands across social media or new product innovations. And while each of these consumer cohorts do have varying motivations and interests that are based on unique sets of purchase behavior drivers, all of these have some motivation that's connected to price and lifestyle compatibility. Now, what are some potential kind of strategies that functional CPG brands could deploy in the market to be kind of best positioned to win? The first one would be surrounding scope, mergers, and acquisitions. Brands should be seeking out mergers and acquisitions, opportunities that could give them access to more categories within the wellness ecosystem. A perfect example of one that had been deployed during the COVID-19 pandemic was when Lululemon bought Mirror. Piggybacking off that first strategy would be kind of like an A variant and a B variant. The first one would be having a self-made portfolio mentality. If you can't find scope M&A opportunities, or maybe you don't have the capital to actually do something like that, you could look at extensions that are adjacent to your current categories and look to enter those through internal innovations and brand creation. And another sub-strategy within that first one that I gave would be to just extend your current brand. Now, you need to make sure that you check with the consumer market, your customers, that they are going to give you the allowance to extend your brand into additional categories within the wellness market. Generally, consumers are not looking at one brand to offer all solutions within the wellness market. So you kind of have to pick and choose ones that are going to be best accepted by the consumer market. The second strategy would be looking at ecosystems. This is something that I have spoken about recently through some of my content. If you guys haven't seen that video that I produced a few weeks ago, I will pop up that video for you guys to watch. But it surrounds that customers are looking for more than just simple products. The value that they are looking for comes from experiencing the use of these products that are tailored to their specific needs and preferences. So this could be something where you're using personalization engines. You could also be using some type of service layers. But it's important to remind that any company that is undertaking a ecosystem strategy, that they have to remember that discovering new customer value is a process, not a project. And then the third strategy would be to look at cleaning up your products. Now, while taste is definitely still king, especially when we're talking about consumable functional CPG products, if we take the great taste out of the equation, a recent survey shows that if consumers had to pick between having a natural functional CPG product or one that was more effective, they would choose the natural clean ingredient products. So fact is, consumers are increasingly more interested in clean and natural products. So brands need to consider how they can be best positioned to take advantage of that change in consumer behavior. Just want to end on some final thoughts. Wellness is definitely here to stay. The COVID-19 effect had strengthened an already kind of solid secular trend that's been going on for decades. Consumers globally are planning on spending more across all of the new dimensions of the wellness market. This growing wellness market provides a ton of opportunities for a number of functional CPG brands, but at the same time, the wellness sector is becoming increasingly more crowded. So brands need to be focused on the right strategies to win.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help support me, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button on this video. If this is the first time you've been introduced to my videos, would love for you guys to be a part of my community by subscribing to my channel. I upload several videos just like this weekly. And if you guys want to connect further outside of this platform, I do include all of my social media links down below. I just want to thank you guys again for your time. Hopefully I gave you some value in return, and we'll see you guys on the next video.